Welcome to the Business Heartwide podcast, a podcast about courage through which I invite you to discover and be inspired by the courage of wonderful people, entrepreneurs, and creators around the world. My name is Marie-Ève. I'm your host, and today I have the joy to introduce you to Sam Valle, who is a tour guide in Guatemala. As you will see in this episode, Sam is an amazing man, always joyful, always smiling, and he has so many stories to share. I love to talk with Sam. Thank you so much, Sam, for being here and saying yes to my invitation.
Thank you, Marie-Ève. Nice to see you again.
Yes. How are you?
Great. Yeah, just came back from another tour.
Oh, you're such a busy man.
Season is ending.
So we had the chance to meet during a tour during my trip in Guatemala, in Antigua in last March. We did a couple of activities together, including a visit to San Simon, which is a ritual place where locals go there to practice rituals and magic. And it's a very interesting place, at least for people from North America like me. It's an interesting place. And by the way, for those of you who are members of the private Facebook group of this podcast, maybe you remember a couple of months ago in March, I shared a stunning video of a priest or a spiritual guide who was playing with fire. And at some point, he put his hand close to the fire, and the fire starts to create like a big spirals. I don't know if you remember. If you're curious and you want to see the video again, it's still available in the group. If you didn't see it, you can see it. And if you're not a member of the group yet, you are very welcome to join it. So you remember that?
Yes.
That video when it just happened like in front of us.
Yes.
That was surprising.
It's one of the things that I'd like to share when you're coming into Guatemala, because it's part of the culture, part of that living culture that we still have. And for our travelers that are coming from a modern world where they don't believe any of these type of things anymore, is something very unique, especially that I have the opportunity to learn from other spiritual guides that things happen over there, and there is a reason for that. That is not something that we said all the time for our travelers to come and observe. Actually, you were witness that at the time that we were there was different groups doing their own ceremonies. They were actually putting all the offerings in the ground, yeah, and then after some of them had also a small figure of that saint that you mentioned, yeah, because a lot of people that are not Catholic at all, they still call him a saint, and it's just a pagan figure that the locals still believe and worship. And that saint, yeah, is one of the ancestors of the locals. But yeah, remember the story that he actually was a shaman, and then he appeared as a very powerful figure there in San Simon, yeah, in that kind of shrine. Yeah, people refers that shrine, but it's very interesting, all the different like, energies that you can feel in that place. Yes,
that was intense.
Yes, that's one of the things that through experience I learned how to work with, because it's very difficult, especially to these places where you mentioned something, the energy is very intense. So sometimes we have to prepare our travelers to go to this place because it's not that easy. Sometimes, and especially people who practices yoga, for example, they feel more overwhelmed than others. And sometimes you don't see anything, but also having the experience of that gentleman just raising his hand over the fire and saying like, I'm your boss, you do whatever I do. And that's something that doesn't happen all the time either. Yeah, so yeah, things and you mentioned something like magic. uh Perhaps it's something like magic, but in my own experience is more or less like the energy is concentrated there, the things that people are going there, because the ritual place is for good, yeah, a lot of good things, but also negative. So sometimes we have to
Mhm.
be very careful with what we are observing, because when especially when there is negative things, some of the shamans don't want us around. When it's positive, they
Mm.
don't care. Sometimes even call us and they say, take pictures. Yeah, come, I will explain you this. It's very rare that it happens, but it happens.
Mm. But we don't want to scare people.
No,
But so you've been
no.
a tour guide for more than 20 years now. So you know many places, you know all the places that like normally we cannot go as tourists. Like Simon is mostly like a local place. So you know how to prepare people, you know how to guide us through the experience, like before, during, and after. So you are a wonderful guide. You are very passionate about Guatemala, but at some point in your life, you had to leave. You had to leave your country. You had to leave your family. And it was a very courageous and difficult decision for you. But at the end, it happened to be one of the best decisions of your life because it completely changed your life. Would you like to share a little bit about that? And also about what you do and who you are?
For sure, for sure, for sure. Yes, yeah, you mentioned something very special here in Guatemala. We are, we have a very huge bandage with our family. So it's very difficult that someone is going to leave their hometowns, they are going to leave their houses and live somewhere else. In my case, I had the opportunity to apply for a scholarship to go to United States when I was much younger. I was raised in a humble home. My father, he was a shoemaker. My mom, a housewife. So both of them didn't have the money to give me a very high level of education. Even though my father managed to raise me and my sisters and provide me a level of education to the point that I graduated from high school. So um, after high school, I started to work in tourism already, but I was working as a waiter. Being there, I met uh, three people. Yeah, two ladies, one gentleman. The gentleman introduced to me as the director of a scholarship program here in Guatemala, and he asked me, "Do you want to apply for a scholarship?" At that moment, I didn't think that I wanted to do that. Yeah, I didn't think, oh, I don't want to go anywhere. But suddenly, suddenly things changed here in my home, and I decided to go and actually apply for the scholarship. So the process took about 9 months until I finally got the scholarship. Yeah, the first process was to fill up an application. Then after filtering all this information, another application, and then the people at the program sent me to the customs office to get my passport. So the more or less there I knew that I had like 60 chances to get the scholarship. And once with my passport, they were the ones that made all the paperwork to get my visa. So like 9 months after, yeah, I knew after I started first, I knew that I had a scholarship. So I didn't tell my father that I had a scholarship, but I was applying for this. But the moment that I told him that, it was very hilarious because we both cried. We both did,
Mm.
because that was the first time that I was going to leave my home. My father, he was very happy but very sad at the moment because we knew that were going to miss each other, even though we are bonded, but we are not that close. Yeah, but yeah, I told him, yeah, I have to leave, and he said, "Go for it, my son. Yeah, this is your opportunity to go somewhere else. I don't have the money for you to go, but you did it. Go." So I left my country for 2 years. In the moment that I left, and there was no technology like today. There was no cell phones. There was nothing. So the only opportunity that I had to talk with them was once a month. Once a month, I used to call to a it's like a public phone. Yeah, it was in the home of somebody else near my community, and I made an appointment to talk to them. So we did that for those 2 years, because in those 2 years I wasn't able to come back to my country. That was part of the program.
Wow.
But it was so amazing because it opened a lot of new opportunities to my life. I knew a different, I would say, civilization. Yeah, so a different group of people, and different traditions, different cultures. Yeah, and different food. Yeah, even food. Yeah, I'm consider myself a foodie, so I miss the Guatemalan food as well. But at the end, it was something very great. Finished my 2 years and I came back home.
But so you met a lot of people. You were like with other students from other countries.
Yes, we were on an exchange program. So the scholarship was sponsored by Georgetown University and other institutions here in Guatemala and USA as well. So we were students from Central America. So we had students from Salvador, Honduras, Costa Rica, also in the Caribbean, Dominican Republic, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, and I can't remember the other. Yeah, but we were at the end 18 students from abroad. Yeah.
And did you speak English when you left Guatemala?
Just a bit.
Just
I was able.
Wow.
Yeah, I was able to say hello, good morning, and this type of things.
Like me in Spanish. So.
Yeah.
So you start from a place where you live like in the same house of your father, your mother, you live with your family. You don't really speak English, and then you just go away for 2 years. You cannot talk to them except once a month, and you have to learn another language, and you have to study. You're a student. That's a lot.
Just like you said it. And you know, this group of students, we were very special because in the trip, and there was also other things that happened to us. We were in Miami. In Miami, we were going to take a plane to go to Jacksonville because that was the city that was expecting us. And in there was a person from the program who was meeting us, while we were arriving. And then at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, more or less, he left us because we were ready to go into the plane. We had our boarding passes and we went into the plane. Something happened to the plane in the middle of the airstrip that we had to come out. Yeah, it lost one of the engines, and we had to come out. Yeah, we had to come out in the middle of the airstrip by foot, go back into the airport, and the person who was in charge of us was gone. We didn't know what to do. And that's one of the very wonderful things, because even though with the barrier of English, yeah, people from the Caribbean spoke a bit of Spanish, just a few words. The ones that were from Central America and Dominican Republic, we spoke a little bit of English. So English and Spanglish, we decided to talk. Yeah, we managed to become to help us, each other, until we found a solution with the airline. So and we were able to call. Yeah, finally we were able to find our contact in Jacksonville, and we told them that we were delayed and these things that happened. But I think that was one of the unique things that bonded our my group. Yeah.
This experience together allow you to really connect for the first time at the very beginning of the adventure.
At the very beginning, yes. Yeah.
So, and then when you came back to Guatemala, what happened?
As soon as I came into Guatemala, I started to look for jobs. Well, first the program also tried to give us an introduction of the country once again, because some people didn't know what was the situation here in Guatemala, what to expect, salaries, for example. Yeah, that's one of the things that we got updated. So salaries in the different careers that we were just studying. So in my case, since I studied hotel hospitality, yeah, so hotel and resort management, I started to work in a hotel. That wasn't that difficult. I just applied, and like a week after, I just got the job. Yeah, that was something very easy for me. So, and the reason why it was much easier was the level of education that I got in the United States was higher than here.
Mm.
Also, speaking English, that was another opportunity for me that opened a lot of gates. So that's part of my first jobs, yeah, in tourism, yeah, to work in hotels.
And then people started to ask you for tour, and then you became like a freelancer tour guide. Is that it?
More or less, like you said, but I was more like working unofficially, so I didn't have a
Okay.
license to work yet to work. So yeah, finally in 2013 I got my official license, so I'm a licensed tour guide. I decided also to take the class, yeah, so 1 full year. Since I had since I already had some knowledge about tourism, it was very easy for me, because otherwise I had to study like 2 years. But
Mm.
since I knew it already, so it took me only almost 1 year. Yeah, and it was more like going on tours around the country and learning more about the culture. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
And I think it's also you met your wife. Like, is it like right after you came back, or it's a couple of years after? Because it's a beautiful story, so I would like you to share.
Oh, no, you're going to make me cry.
No.
Well, I met my wife in 1999. I was working in a beach hotel that was also a sister hotel for another hotel here in Antigua. They just the company here in Antigua decided that they were going to open a good resort in the Pacific, because there was nothing. So I was sent to train the staff, part of the staff of the front desk over there. And then like a year after, I was employed by them. So I ended in the Pacific. Being in the Pacific, I met my wife. Yeah. Yes, yeah, I met my wife. It was very funny because we knew that we like each other, but I tried to ask her for to go out for a couple of times, and she always said nope. but but yeah, but her boss, yeah. Her boss was a very good friend of mine, because we worked together in Antigua. So she kind of be our I would say our angel. She introduces each other, and the way that she did it was also very tricky, because we decided to go out for dinner, yeah, to outside of the hotel that day. And because we used to work in the hotel and stay in the hotel all the time, and we used to have like our normal holidays to go and rest in our houses. But we didn't have so much guests that day, so we decided to go out, small group. Yeah, we were 4. And then her boss told me, yeah, go and talk to Karen. My wife's name is Karen, yeah, talk to Karen, yeah. And she accepted, yeah, she accepted to go out. And that's how we started with our relationship. We only dated like for 6 months, and then we both got fired of the hotel. I came home, she went to her house, and we continued dating. But the first time that I decided to go to her house, I got lost. I got lost, and it's very funny. This part I didn't tell you. Yeah,
You're a
I
tour
was.
guide and you got lost
Yeah,
going to
yeah, yep,
your girlfriend's
yeah,
house.
yeah. And you know what's the worst? I was only 1 block away from her house. Yeah, but I was so disappointed that I came back home. Yeah, she was also very upset. And that day we were going, I was going to meet their family, so they told them, yeah, he doesn't love you. Yeah, and she got
Oh,
very upset. Yeah, she got very upset. But suddenly we just managed things to meet close. So she took me home to his house, to her house, and just after that we just continued dating for a couple more months more, and we got married. Yeah,
you got
so I've
married
been.
in the same year that you met her. And
Yep.
you are still together. Like, how long have you been together now?
It's going to be 23 years
Wow,
this December.
congratulations.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not very easy because we have our peaks. Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good ones, very bad ones. But we had managed to work everything together. There is being certain times here in my home where things are not going like we dreamed to be. So she's been part of that project of life. She backs me up. I back her up. Yeah. And I made a couple of bad decisions a couple of times, so I had learned from that. But she's always been there. Yeah,
Mm,
she always. We are very good teams. Yeah, we are a very good
mm,
team. And I think one of the reasons why we get so along is because we don't hide things to each other. Yeah, we say things face to face. Yeah, even though we know that it's going to hurt each other, it's the best to just to tell what we think and what we feel, and that we have worked that out very well. Yeah,
mm.
so yeah,
And you
we
have two daughters, right?
that yes, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
And
and you.
you all live together in the same house, right?
Yes, but you won't believe I have a 22 years old and 8. So there is a big gap.
Oh,
Yeah, there is a big gap between each other. Yeah, we live together. The 22 years old is still here with us. She's not planning, and we are not planning to that she leaves the house. Yeah, she can remain here with us as long as she wants, unless she wants to go and look for her own horizon. But otherwise, she can stay here. With the little
mm,
one, we are still taking care of her.
of
Now that
course.
now that classes are going on normal, when I'm here at home and I'm not working, I take her to school. I go and pick her up. So we have a very good bandage with that. Yeah, we are
Mm,
very nice family. Yeah.
mm. There's another thing I would like to talk about with you. It's about COVID, because you work in the tourism industry. So of course, as a tour guide, everything stopped for 2 years during the
See.
pandemic. And you had other actions and courageous decision to take at that time. And I want you to share it, because for me, when you share it to me, it was the perfect example of courage, because you chose, in fact, we can say it, you chose to look for another job. You took another job so that you can pay for the bills during the COVID. But you took that job with so much joy, and you're doing it like smiling, and but like you smile from the heart, even if, like, of course, maybe with you would not have took that job, like if it was not of COVID, and maybe it's not your favorite job because you prefer to be a tour guide. But still, even if it was an uncomfortable moment, you chose to do it with joy. And well, for me, it's an example of courage to chose this to to embrace comfort, because we know that this is the path to follow, and to do it like with a smile. So
Yeah, thank you. Yes, unfortunately, COVID was really bad for the whole in tourism industry in Guatemala. We were not prepared. We were expecting that year a very good year with tourism, and then in March 17, our president said we close all the borders. Yeah, no one enters, and the tourists that we still have here have to leave. So all the bookings that I already have, yeah, were canceled. Yeah, the companies started to cancel and cancel. So I had bookings already for 6 months in advance. So all of that was canceled. By fortune, and I said for the decisions that I took before, I had some savings. So I learned how to save money, because normally here in Guatemala, we live by the day. Money we get today, money that we spend. But I learned the hard way to save money. So I had, I would say, enough money to survive at least 6 months during the pandemic. So with my wife, we didn't know what to do. So the first things that we started to do, my wife likes to bake cakes. So she started to bake, and she announced those cakes on Facebook. So we were selling online. And I only had a bicycle during that period of time. So I took the bike, yeah, and I was going to actually deliver it to the houses of whoever asked us for it. And that was one of the things that we did, but I was unemployed for 5 months. Yeah, 5 months with no job and bills to pay. We just started to think what we are going to do, because the money is not going to last the whole season. But a lot of call centers started to hire people. And since I speak English, I am being in the tourism industry, I know about customer service. Yeah, customer service is in my veins.
Yes.
So yeah, so I applied, and I got a job. But it wasn't that easy for me. It was actually one of the decisions that I had to take, because I'm not used to be inside a room, yeah, behind a computer for so many hours, and I had to work. I had to be seated for about 9 to 10 hours. So that was
Wow.
very difficult for me. The level of stress was very difficult. But I used to work 5 days. So the other 2 days, I tried to release all that stress that I had. I went to ride bicycle and everything. But I only I couldn't last that long. Some friends of me lasted like a year. I only lasted 7 months in that industry. Um, as I said, it was something very difficult for me, because even though it was something that I was not very comfortable with, I always tried my best attitude. Yeah, like that smile that you mentioned. That's a part of me. Yeah, so I tried to maintain that even without behind this speaker. Yeah, I tried to maintain that, because I knew that I was supervised. Yeah, and also the clients that these companies had, they could actually sense if I was smiling, or if I was just being rude or something like that. So I just
Yeah.
tried to maintain that very good attitude, because we needed the money. And the best thing about this is that, for example, money was one of the things, and also the other benefit was that we also were paid social security on that period of time. So was very good, even though I didn't use it, but at least I had it like a backup in case we needed some medical attention. At the end, I resigned, because I wasn't that comfortable. But also, I took the opportunity, because I have a friend in Hungary, and he had a group that his group was delaying and delaying their trip. Yeah, and in March of 2021, and they were told that they could come to Guatemala, so they arrived in April. So I resigned in March, yeah, at the end of March. April, the group came, and I had my vacations with them. I was working but taking vacations at the same time. Then I continued doing tours once again. I was able to do what I love to do. So I feel so comfortable. And I did other tours for like other 3 months more or less. And then I tried to go again on the call center, and I only did it for 2 months. Yeah, that was my last chance, and I felt like that wasn't for me. Yeah, that really wasn't for me. So um, I think that I will still have that experience in my life. That's an experience of learning. Yeah, really much, and I think that I will appreciate. Well, I feel like I started to appreciate much more what I do now than I used to do it before. Yeah.
I'm sure of it. And now tourism in Guatemala, how is it? Is it going well?
Well, this season actually went very well. We are just ending the season. Um, we end this season and the following 15 days. September, it's very quiet. September in Guatemala rains a lot, so we don't have that many bookings in September. And then October, I don't have any bookings. But then from November, I have already almost 3 months of bookings already.
So if people would like to go to Guatemala and do a couple of tours with you as their guide, what would be the best month to go?
Depending on what they are looking for, I will always say that the best time to come to Guatemala is anytime, with the exception of September. Yeah,
Okay.
September is rainy. Yeah, September is rainy. So September, we have to accommodate all the tourists to do it early in the morning. So we don't have any issues with the rain in the afternoon. But then otherwise, you can come anytime during the year. But if you're looking for something special, for example, the best sunsets, come in November, December. Yeah, but if you come to Antigua, for example, and you want to observe all these religious traditions and so those carpets and all these colorful things in Antigua, come during Lent. Of course, Antigua gets expensive during those days, but yeah, it's
During
a very
what?
good time.
Sorry.
During Lent, yeah, it's Lent. Yeah, it's for the 40 days of Easter. Yeah, basically Easter time.
Okay.
Easter time. Yeah. We call it
Sorry.
Lent, but others call it Easter. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for all your stories, for sharing your courageous story. It's so inspiring. To conclude, would you have a message to share, maybe to people who are in the same position as you a couple of years ago, maybe people who have to leave their family or leave their country to welcome new opportunities in their life? Would you have like a dose of courage to share with them?
For sure. Yes, I would say that if you have an opportunity that is going to open you a lot of opportunities, or as I said, new gates for a better horizon, just go on and take it. Because opportunities are always going to be there for the smartest to take it. Yeah, unless you take the chances and the courage to go for it, you are not going to know if you are good for that or not. I took my chances. I took my chances to leave my country, go to another place where I didn't know the language, I didn't know the culture. I'm raising my family. I also took the opportunity to go and work on something different. But here I am. I'm doing what I love. So yeah, the chances are that you are going to end doing what you love to do.
So don't think too much. Open your arms. Just take the chance and enjoy the surprise.
Just easy like that. You said it better than me.
No, it was perfect. Thank you so much. Really, thank you so much. So if people want to contact you, if they want to know more about you, about your tours, about your business, about Guatemala, they can contact you on Facebook and also by email. So we're going to put your contacts below this video and also on the business heartwidepodcast.com website. And thanks a lot for this moment with you. I hope you're going to have the chance to see each other again in Guatemala, I hope.
Hopefully.
And thank you for all of you for listening and watching this episode. If you appreciate the experience, please feel free to share this dose of courage with your friends, your family, and your different networks. And see you on the next episode of the Business Heartwide podcast. Bye.
Bye-bye.